then speculative, normal business and all. If you have incurred any losses, if you have filed a belated return, then such losses cannot be carried forward. Okay, so that is only given over here. Losses cannot be carried forward in belated return, first statement over, comma, other than exception in section 139 subsection 3. I hope that is clear to you all, which are the two losses: house property losses and unabsorbed depreciation are the two losses which are allowed as exception in section 139 subsection 3, and belated return cannot be revised. That's it. We'll see belated revised section under section 139 subsection 5. Let's see revised return. If omission or any wrong statement is discovered in a return furnished under section 139 subsection 1, a revised return may be furnished by the assessee at any time, but there is a time limit given over here before the expiry of the 1 year from the end of the relevant assessment year, or before the completion of the assessment, whichever is earlier, before the expiry of the 1 year from the end of the relevant assessment year, similar to this, or completion of the assessment, whichever is earlier. So let me make you explain what is revised return. Revised return means you have filed a return with the department, you have filed a return, but whatever you have filed in that particular return, you have omitted or you have done any wrong statement you have discovered later after filing the return, but you have filed the return before the due date, then only you can file a revised return. See, I told you, you'll get understand over here why belated return cannot be revised. If you have filed a belated return, then you cannot file a revised return. If you have filed your return before the due date, then only you can file a revised return. And when you can file a revised return, you can file a revised return if any omission or any wrong statement is discovered in a return furnished under section 139 subsection 1. A revised return may be furnished by the assessee at any time. The assessee can furnish the revised return any time before the expiry of the 1 year from the end of the relevant assessment year, or you can simply remember before the filing of the return of the next assessment year. That is, I have given here over here belated return. You can write this same part over here also, that is before filing the return of the next assessment year or before the completion of the assessment, whichever is earlier. Note, revise as many return as you can until right return filed is before the period of revised return. What this statement means? This statement is quite tricky. You should understand what this means. Revise as many return as you can until right return is filed before the period of revised return. That is, before this period, file as many as revised return you want, but before this period. Okay, so what the government wants to say, there are few theory over here, I'll make you understand. Section 139 subsection 4 and section 139 subsection 5. In this it is said that belated return can be filed, but cannot be revised. I hope you all are understanding. Cannot be revised. Section 139 subsection 5 says revised return can be filed, as many as you want before filing the return of the next assessment year. This is the overview of section 139 subsection 4 and section 139 subsection 5. So you can draw a conclusion that you can skip over section 139 subsection 4, because the government has given you a privilege that even if you filed a wrong return or incomplete return or omitted return, you can file the revised return later. So it is better to file a incomplete return, and such return can be revised later before the prescribed period. What? Before the prescribed period. Okay, so now you come to know that if you skip this section, that is belated return, so you should keep this in mind. You should file the return on the due date, even though it is incomplete, even though there is some error, you should file it, because after filing such return you can rectify it, you can file a revised return. So I'll give you time to copy this, don't worry. First I want to copy you all this section 139 subsection 4 and then this section. So please pause the video, first write this and then write this. Okay, please pause the video and copy. I hope you all have copied. Please pause the video and copy it. I hope you all have copied. Please pause the video and copy. I hope you all have copied. Okay. Now we'll move on to a new part. Following this is a table first. How to write the answer in the exam. This is the part I have shown. Then later I have given all the shortcuts, but you should present all that shortcut in this manner only. Okay. So I'll be teaching how to present later. First let us understand and let me explain you all what is all this thing. Following is a table related to who are authorized to file the return. So you should know, right? Who is the authorized person who should file the return? You know the due date. You know all the provision relating to filing of the return, but you don't know who is the authorized person who needs to file the return. So let's see it now. Individual. First we'll see individual. Then there are 8 cases: individual, local authority, political party, HUF, company, firm, any other association, any other person. Okay. Circumstances: authorized person. So we'll see the circumstances, under which circumstances the individual and authorized person who will be liable to file the return. See, individual, when he is absent from India. There might be a case when an individual who has to file the return is absent from India. That means he is not there in India, he is out of India. So who is the person liable or authorized to file the return? The authorized person is the individual himself. That means the individual should come back to India and file the return, or any other person duly authorized by him. In this behalf means in which behalf? In this behalf means in the behalf of filing of the return. Okay, in behalf of the filing of the return and holding a valid power of attorney from the individual. That means the authorized person should hold a valid power of attorney from this individual. Okay, I hope this is clear. We'll revise it. We'll go a rapid revision for this chapter at the end of this chapter. When the individual is mentally unable to attend his affairs. That means the individual is incapable to attend his affairs. Then the authorized person is his guardian or any other person competent to act on his behalf. That means any other person who is competent to act on his behalf means act means to file the return. Act means to file the return on his behalf. So whenever a question comes regarding this, what will